My name is Megan Lewis Taylor, and this is me and my story. I graduated high school. I got accepted to a bunch of different places on an Army full scholarship, but I ultimately decided on Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Daytona Beach, Florida. I started with an engineering major, but it was too hard for me at the time, so I switched. I walked on to the soccer team, tried out, made the team, started playing soccer, and my academics were a high priority on my life, whereas they should have been. So I needed to kind of make some quick decisions in my life on where I wanted to be, where I wanted to go. And so I decided that I was gonna leave school and enlist in the military, and I really wanted to go into the Coast Guard. So I left school. From there I enlisted in the Coast Guard, and I left, started boot camp. I graduated boot camp, I got the most physically fit, and from there I got stationed in Marquette, Michigan at a small boat station. I went there, I became a boat crew member on a 25-foot boat, 33-foot boat, and on a skiff for ice rescue. So our main duties were ice rescue, search and rescue, and law enforcement. We did a lot of search and rescue cases that summer that I was there, and I definitely got a lot of experience, and I had to kind of grow up quick because they give you like a $1 million boat, and they kind of just like, okay, here you go save people's lives now. I was on a couple of cases that were kind of hairy, and like one case I went out, we got the call, and we go out on the boat. We're out and on the boat and underway within like 2 or 3 minutes, and a 17-year-old girl had fallen off of the cliff, and her family's all on top. So I get into the water with one of my other boat crew members, and we get this girl on a backboard, and I get out of the water, we pull her up onto the boat, and we continue giving her medical care, and we take her to shore where paramedics take her to the hospital. Actually, it turns out that she made a full recovery, and she's probably walking around somewhere today. I went from Coast Guard Station Marquette to Training Center Yorktown, Virginia, where I went for like 4 months to get job training on being a bosun mate, where my basic responsibility would be driving boats, federal law enforcement, but on top of that you do boat maintenance, painting, rigging. It's really a job that kind of does a little bit of everything. So I go from Virginia to Marine Safety and Security Team, Boston. It's like an anti-terrorism unit, so we go to all kinds of national events like the United Nations General Assembly every year in New York. Whenever the president would go on vacation in Martha's Vineyard, we would go. I was there for the Boston bombings when everything happened, and we were making that immediate response when it happened, rushing back to work, getting the boats ready to go and launched, and trying to get through the city is not an easy task, and just trying to get out there and do security sweeps so that we could keep the city safe. And we did hurricane response for Hurricane Sandy, and when we got there it was like pretty crazy. It's like kind of like what would happen if a zombie apocalypse happened, because there's like no food in the grocery stores, there's cars lined up for miles trying to get gas, and there's no gas. There's stuff all over the place. Like we're driving around in the harbor and there's like a bathtub just floating, and with all kinds of wooden planks and stuff. We had to resweep the whole harbor because there hadn't been any law enforcement in it the whole time. So before all the freighters could come in and bring all the supplies and stuff, Coast Guard had to go on the freighters and board them, check everything, make sure it was okay, and Our main responsibility was checking the harbor to make sure to resweep it so that way it was clear for other people to come in. Altogether, I was at 1,650 underway hours. At my first unit, I was at 22 search and rescue missions, and I saved 10 lives. At my last unit, I did 392 missions, and I was at the point where I needed to either re-up for another 4 years or to decide to get out. And I really, at that point, I just decided I didn't want to move anymore. I didn't want to start over. I felt like I was ready to get out and kind of just start my life. I really feel like I made a huge impact, even though that you may not see it or may not know me. I feel like I did something great. I always had this dream of being an engineer because I went to engineering camp for ASME at the Air Force Academy through high school, and I just really have a passion for math and science, and I love learning about different things and how things are made. So I thought I would pursue that direction of my life, and before any more time went by and before I just kind of got stuck in this rut of, oh, I can just go back to school later, or I can just stay here. Oh, I'll just stay, and then it's 10 years down the line, and then it's too late to go back to school. I decided I was going to get out and go to Daniel Webster College in Nashua, New Hampshire, where I'd already lived. So it was just 10 minutes down the road and pursue engineering. So in August 2016, I come to Daniel Webster College to start engineering. My first semester back, I was playing soccer and field hockey and really just enjoying life like a normal person again, not having to leave all the time on deployments, making roots and friends longer than just 2 years or 3 years. We start classes and everything, and everything's crazy because I haven't been in school since 2008, and I'm sitting there and she's telling us to do 3D drawings, and we're doing SolidWorks on the first day. I'm sitting there I don't know what any of this stuff is, so please help. We get into November, and there's all these rumblings about the school closing, and I'm whoa, I just made this major life choice of quitting a career to go back to school to become an engineer, and now the school's closing. It was kind of depressing in one side because I was wow, I just made this giant leap of faith to come into engineering and to become an engineer, and the school is kind of going under. Then SNHU came in and bought the program, and they just took over, and it was thank God, because I didn't know what else I would do. Now in 2017, fall semester, now we're all at SNHU now, and I'm pursuing my aeronautical and mechanical degree in engineering, and I'm playing field hockey here. I feel it's really helped me today to kind of really put my focus towards, I know what I want to do in life because I've spent all this time trying to get there. Might have not been the right path, but I've gotten there somehow. I'm determined to become an engineer, and being in the Coast Guard really proved to me that I could do anything I want to do, and no one's going to stop me. And a lot of people think that you can't do an engineering degree and you can't play sports, but it's all about how you prioritize your life and what you want to do. So I want to play sports and I want to become an engineer. So my two priorities are playing sports and being an engineer. So where some other people go out on the weekends, or they hang out with their friends, go to the movies, watch TV, I do none of that. I literally just play sports and work on being an engineer. When we travel with the team, I'm the only one doing homework the whole time because I'm determined to become an engineer, but I'm also determined to play on this team and really contribute and be the best I can be. My ultimate dream would be to work for NASA, doing something that has to do with space exploration or exploring other planets, something to do with that. And so From here, I'm working towards anything to get me into some kind of space-related internship. And through that internship, working towards getting experience so I can get into NASA one day and really work towards exploring what else is out there.